Bitcoin is holding up. It's near the lows, but it's not falling any further. That's a good sign. We're going to take a look at some Bitcoin proxies today. We're also going to talk a little bit about Bit Digital. That's been doing something very interesting this morning. Not just this morning, but the last couple of days. Let's get right into it. So to begin with, we're going to look at the economic calendar. Remember, we've got three Feds speaking today. We've got Michael Barr, uh, Powell is also speaking today at 10 a.m., so be on the watch out for that. That's going to be a market mover. You also have Michelle Bowman, a pretty intense hawk, coming in at 1:30 p.m. These are Eastern time. So you got three different Feds speaking today on Tuesday. So be aware of that. There's also tomorrow, we've got three Feds speaking tomorrow as well. So that's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. And then let's go take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, you may notice a new indicator here on my chart. This is actually the volatility average true range support and resistance bands. I like looking at these sometimes to see if we're like at extremes in the daily or whatever time frame range. Right now I'm looking at daily, and we have been at the bottom of this range for a little while now. Now that doesn't mean that we're going to go right back up to the top. Notice here we hit the bottom in June 26th to 29th, and we came up about to the middle and then fell again. So, I mean, we could come up to, 61, 62 and then find ourselves right back at the bottom one more time. But that's just something I like to look at. So you can see here that usually this bottom band here tends to be an area where Bitcoin bounces off of or goes flat at. So we are currently resting at the bottom of that band here on the daily anyways. And that it gives me a little bit of hope that this could end up turning into, structure that looks bullish here, hopefully coming soon. I was hoping that this hammer down here would end up being bullish, and it ended up just being sideways, and this is looking more like a bear flag now as we go on. But if we close up above 58.37, we could move up towards the center here at 61. We conquered 61. We're moving back up into the high 60s. So that's Bitcoin. Now, today we're going to take a look at some Bitcoin proxies, one of which is Coinbase. I did get some questions about Coinbase yesterday, and you know what? Here I am to talk about Coinbase. So let's see how has Coinbase been doing for a while. Well, one, it went on this epic run in the spring, and it's been kind of flagging sideways since. Now, what are we seeing in this chart right now? One thing is it is near the bottom of these average true range bands, support and resistance, right? So it's all the way down here. It's near the bottom. That's good. I like that. It has room up to, honestly, up to about 264 on these with the midline here. The midline is actually in an interesting place because you've got a double bottom, meaning that if we get above this line here, which is basically this midline here, if we get above this line here at 236.10 and we close above that and hold above it for a day or two, we could easily find ourselves back up in the high 200s on Coinbase. So I like that. I like that a lot. And you can see in the pre-market, it's actually moving up a little bit. A lot of things are moving up in the pre-market. Now let me go over here. Yeah, I got a lot of indicators on right now. Let me go to my fib clouds and see what we've got going on here. So now it's kind of in the middle of no man's land. Yeah, we see here, look at this. So right now we're currently chilling on the 50-day moving average, which is going to be at 227.10, and then the 20-day moving average at 232.61. So those are going to be levels of resistance that could hold us down on our way up to that 226 level here to get above that and come from that double bottom and find ourselves up at the top of this range. Notice that we got into this double bottom off of a double top here, which had a very similar midline here at the green level here that sent us down further. So this is interesting. I like this. Let's drill down a little bit into some lower time frames and see what we've got here in terms of when was the last time I got my pitch. All right, so this is interesting. Red cross means the 50-day crosses over or under, in this case, the 200-day moving average, which is bad. Green is a golden cross, which is the 50 crossing over the 200-day moving average, which is good. But I got that at the same time that I got my little blue label up down here. And that, as you can see, seems to have overridden that red cross there and sent it up. So that's interesting. That's cool. I like that a lot. Let me turn off extended session and see where we are. Okay. So we've mostly been flat. All right, so actually, I like this. I like this actually right now a lot. So we're in an area where you could see higher reward to risk at the moment. So if we're looking here, this is very flaggy, right? This is very, very flaggy. And what we can do with that is set ourselves a stop loss somewhere at about like 217, right? We can set our stop loss there. So if it gets any lower than this, we're expecting it to come all the way back to the bottom of the range around 209, maybe even 204, okay? And if we break out above, let's say about right there, if we break out above this kind of the body of this thing, which yeah, let's say about right here, 222, so above 222, we could very easily find ourselves moving up off of this flag pattern into a minimum of the 50-day moving average, probably more to this fuchsia line here at 227, which would be, let's take a look here. Oop, that's what I'd be looking for, probably higher to be honest, but that's just what I'm looking at right now, and that would represent a not the best. Not the best risk reward. Just like a 1.2 risk reward. I would honestly be looking more for something like into this area here, like a 1.5 or 1.7, 1.5, like right there. Into the bottom of this area here, I'd be looking for that. That's actually more like what I'd be looking at right about there. So from this area here. So that's interesting. That could be a potential trade setup where you have, a 1 to 6 win ratio potential, whereas you would cut it if it went beneath, if it closed beneath this area here and hold it on its way up just above this pink line there. Now, that's not necessarily what I'm going to do right now. I'm just kind of watching Coinbase right now. And of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. What I really want to see, honestly, on this one, what I really want to see, let me turn off indicator. What I really want to see on this one right now is a breakage of this trend line right here. That's really what I want to see. Breakage of that trend line. That would be pretty sweet right now. We break that, that could send us back to the top of the range or even higher. And that would be a completion. That would send us back to the top of this double bottom down here, which we remember in the larger time frame, it's not so noticeable in this time frame. Also, let's see, what do we got here? Anything of interest going on here? Not really. Not really. Okay, let's take a look at the hourly chart, see if there's anything super interesting going on with Coinbase on the hourly chart. Not particularly, not particularly. We came down towards this cloud here, we got close to it, and we started coming up, and we're flagging. So I'm calling this a bull flag right now. And I think this bull flag is likely to take us, so on the hourly, right? The hourly came close to the cloud, came up, and it's flagging now, and it's flattening out here. So again, like I said, if it gets below this little flag area here, like, 220 something, if it gets below that, we're coming back down. If you can get above this, like this descending trend line here, we're likely to come up towards that 230s range there. And if we look at the daily, remember that was a double bottom, and coming back up to that 230 would be the midline of that double bottom, which could, if it crosses it, send it even higher. So that's actually a kind of a bullish setup on Coinbase right now, even though we are in the top of the range and we have been flagging sideways for months. Okay, let's move on to MicroStrategy. Spoiler alert, I did get into MicroStrategy yesterday, and in 4 minutes the market's going to open, so I should probably take a look at that. Anyways, I got in actually at the red line down here at 1273. I got in on there when it started flattening out and wrote it up. So actually, I should probably put this here and put this right there. Okay, that's what I did yesterday. And let's go into the 30-minute chart, and you can see, yeah, I mean, I'm up on it. I got in on one of these candles here, like probably this first one. Yeah, I got in on this first candle here, watched it come down, and then wrote it kind of up from there. On the 30-minute chart, there's not a lot of room upwards on that. Let's go to the hourly on this, on the ITR. Yeah, we could go up to like 1346, 1347. I'm just looking to make a quick 100 or so on this, and then cut it, and then move on to the next one, to be honest. Let's take a look really quick at this. But if Bitcoin does a bigger move, yeah, we're gonna be looking really well. Yeah, so I was operating off of this blue signal down here, and I was expecting it to come at least up to this orange line here. I'm gonna see how that interacts. If it interacts badly with it, I'll cut the trade. If it shows strength here at this level, then I'll watch it up to the green level here, maybe even higher. depending on what's going on with MicroStrategy. So actually, MicroStrategy is not looking too bad. It doesn't have a lot going on there. Let's see here. It is getting up above the 5-day moving average. Let me clear that. It is getting up above the 5-day moving average in the pre-market. It is looking like it could easily come up, yeah, into that 50-day, 20-day cross up here at about $1,430-ish here in the next few days, maybe even today if we're lucky, if we get a good day on the market today. There is a little bit of concern in the sliding down here and the fact that we fell off. I don't know. I'm not too concerned about that actually. No, MicroStrategy is also looking okay. It's actually also looking okay. Let's take a look at Square real quick. So Square kind of capitulated really hard. So we were watching it back here, right? In April, we were watching it here. And I said, if it doesn't get up and close above that 73.66 level, that I didn't want anything to do with it. And you know what? It didn't do that. So I didn't want anything to do with it. Okay, so now we've had plenty of time to capitulate, come down. There are some interesting patterns forming right now. Now, you would, normally I would call this an ascending channel. And you know what? It is. It is an ascending channel. But if we take a look at this structure here, we got a shoulder, a head. Is this potentially a shoulder here with a neckline about right there? With that, if we close up above that, let me put it on the price low label. If we get above that 66.81, we could potentially find ourselves back up in the 70s. So I'm watching that on Square right now. We got out of this aggressive descending channel, right? This was a very aggressive descending channel here that we've been in for months and months and months and months and months. And it got even more aggressive in May. But we're starting to see it turn around here. And I'm watching this level very carefully now, the 66.81 on Square. If we see some moves out of it here in that respect, I would be looking for a move back up to about $70 on Square. So I'm watching that pretty close. And if I bring in, let's see, my clouds, on the daily, yeah, they're all far away, but it came down to this fuchsia line, right? It was up here in the red in April, came down in the middle, kind of hung around, and then capitulated down, and it's hanging out around this pink line. And would you look at that? The 50-day moving average also hanging out right at that 66.81 level. It's actually at 67.04. We get above that area, we're very likely coming up back into the 70s on Square. So if you're interested in that at all, pay attention to one specifically. Let's take a look at the hourly. The hourly is not looking amazing, but we do have room up to 65 if it decides to move off of this like ugly double bottom it's got going there. Let's drill down a little further and see what's going on. Yeah, it's this. I don't love this on the 30. That does look a bit flaggy to me. If it comes below 64.21, I would be looking for a move back down to like low 60s on that. So keep your eyes out for that. All right, moving on to Tesla. Is Tesla going to finally rest today and come back to the 5-day moving average at $246.56? 49 cents now. It's moving around. Now that market is open. Is it finally going to take a rest, maybe come down a little bit? I am looking for it to cool off. I mean, it is at an RSI of 91 right now. I would like to see Tesla come at least back down to like 232, 233, which would be the base of this support over here. That support, the base of that support, about 232, 233. And hopefully it holds there and moves back up. If it doesn't, I'd be looking for it to move all the way down to about 210, 220-ish if it doesn't hold in the 230 range on Tesla. I don't really need to drill down on this. I'm going to go to the 1 minute and trade this, day trade this here in a minute. But we are operating off, yeah, we have this big, ugly kind of inverted head and shoulders. We came up, we completed the move yesterday, and now it can cool off again on Tesla. So I would be expecting some kind of cooling off on Tesla here today. If I don't get it, I wouldn't be surprised because Tesla's crazy, but I would be expecting it right now with this. All right, that's what I've got there. Oh, yeah, one more. Metaplanet. I have no idea where to actually trade this. This is actually a Japanese company, but they started buying Bitcoin and they're a Bitcoin proxy now. Metaplanet, ticker symbol 3350.T. Isn't that so fun? Anyways, they started buying Bitcoin back here in May, and they were trading at what 34? Is that dollars or yen? I don't know. Can't be yen. That'd be like nothing. Anyways, yeah, and now it's trading at 87. So it went up significantly. It went up more than doubled. More than doubled. Wow, that's crazy. More than doubled since it started. And let's see if we got on the daily chart. It's up 8% on the day. Like this thing's flowing. That's another proxy for Bitcoin. That one's doing very, very well. All right, anyways, let's take a look at Bit Digital. Bit Digital opened up this morning up 3% nearly. It is bucking the trend of a lot of the Bitcoin miners that were falling. Yesterday, it went up, and I have my suspicion. Two things I am having a suspicion of with Bit Digital. One of them, shorts might be covering. If you remember, they had 24% short interest. We go to the short interest. Yeah, 24% short interest, which has been falling a little bit. I think last month it fell like 6%. This month it's falling about 2.9%. How many days to cover are there? 2.7. So there were 3, now it's 2.7. I think shorts are covering. I think this thing blew up with the HPC news, and I think they're starting to cover. So I think we might, this is the area where we're going to see shorts trying to carefully cover and get them without sending it sky high. Now, they could screw it up and send it sky high. I really hope they do. That'd be awesome. There's that. I also think that there's some institutional buying coming in, considering the HPC contracts that are coming through. Also, something I'm just seeing right now. Nice cup and handle here. Nice cup and handle right here. So right here, cup. We got this little handle, and the end of this cup and handle is honestly. Let me do this. Right there. The end of this cup and handle is, can I, hold on, technical difficulties. The end of this cup and handle is at about, at their 63. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so we could be coming up to about 563 off of just this cup and handle move right here for Bit Digital. And honestly, shorts are getting scared, and I think the shorts are covering, and I think that's covering. That's what's causing this with Bit Digital right now. And I am expecting to see it to continue to move up. To be honest, even though we're getting towards the bottom of this cloud, like look, it goes into this thing and just goes to the top of it. Could easily come to the top of this, rest back down to like 420, and then go flying high again on this. So let's take a look. I have been watching the 200-week moving average. That's where this pink line basically is. I've been watching this area here for where I'm expecting Bit Digital to ultimately rest off of this run here. And that's what I'm hoping to see. I don't know if it necessarily will get it. If I see weakness before that, obviously, we might trade out of it. But that's all I've got going on there with Bit Digital. I think the shorts are starting to cover. Let's do a real quick rundown of the miners. So lightning round, Clean Spark is down 0.45%. That sucks. I think it's going to come back down to that $15 level, hang out there for a couple of days, flatten out, and then launch again like it's just been doing all year long. Boring, boring, boring. Let's take a look at Mara. What is Mara doing? Mara is down plus 0.26%, hanging out at that 1980 level that I have had drawn on this chart forever. Also boring, boring, boring. Let's take a look at Riot. What is Riot doing? Riot is, to no surprise, falling a little bit. It has been absolutely flat with a downward lean basically since April. Again, boring, 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 boring. Bit Digital. What is going on with Bit Digital? It is up 1.3%. That's nice to see. They got the new CEO in. They're moving up a tiny bit. I like that. I like to see that. That's pretty good. Pretty happy about that. Hang on there. Bit Farms, let's see you get back up towards that 329 level. I want to see you come up into this red cloud here. I want to see it. Come on, Bit Digital, you can do it. We are above the 20-day moving average. We're above all the moving averages that are on this chart. That is very good for Bit Digital. I mean, Bit Farms, excuse me. Go run, little buddy. Take a look at Iron. Iron is, ooh, I like this. So Iron is forming something of a top here. I want to see it come back down and test 1126 on Iron. Iron's been very, very interesting for quite a while, and I would like to see it come back down to this level. I want to see it test this, maybe come down back down to like $8 so I can scoop it up. Get back down to 8 so I can scoop you up, Iron. Do it already. I'm tired of waiting. Core Z, same sort of thing. We are creating a bit of an ascending channel here. We break this ascending channel to the downside, and we are likely to revisit this and look like a double top at 831. If we break that double top, we're coming all the way down to about $6 on Core Z. If that happens, if we break out of the top of this thing, though, I have no idea what it's going to do. So here you go. Wolf. Let's take a look at Wolf. What is going on with Wolf? We are getting some top signals on Wolf here. We are above the fib bands. We're above everything on Wolf. Wolf has been absolutely crazy lately. But you see these two candles here with these wicks on top. I don't like this. This is printing. If this closes as a hammer on top today, an inverted hammer at the top of the range today, I am not going to like that at all. I would be looking at that as a reversal candle, maybe coming all the way down to 440, possibly down to this 383, but I don't see that. I see it probably coming down, yeah, to about the 480 level on Wolf if it decides to do a retrace here. Maybe colliding with the 20-day moving average before moving on up, but I am looking at this as a potential top signal for Wolf. What about Cypher? What's going on with Cypher? Nothing today. It's kind of hanging out just in this area, flagging sideways. It needs to get above 473 to do anything. If it goes below, goes below 457, it falls. Nothing going on there. Let's take a look at Hut. Hut real quick. Hut is, ooh, it's looking just like Wolf. Wow, look at that. It went on this absolute heater all of June. Did a nice big move up. How much was that for Hut? Let's take a look. It was about 100% move. That is, wow, that's amazing. I see why I got a couple of comments on Hut recently. If we break this 5-day moving average, though, we're coming back down to the 20 at 1376, which still be very bullish move for this thing, and it could go even higher. So that's pretty cool. Hut making a really sweet run. Let's take a look at Hive. I also got a question about Hive yesterday. Hive is, it's coming into resistance here. It's this pink line, 348. It's got to get above 348. If it can't get above 348, we're coming back down to the 20, probably the 50 at 280. So Hive not looking great, but there is a bit of structure here on the bottom here. If we can break that 348, we have room all the way up to 456 on Hive. So that's the lightning round for the Bitcoin miners. That's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and have a profitable day.